If you want to see amazing and exciting duels, informative and entertaining top 10 lists, and everything else that's just great about the game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, you gotta watch the Capital G Show. Shout outs to my homeboy Dante. Hey. What's up YouTube, Capital G here. We're talking 106 Giant Hand in this video and asking the question flat out, when the hell are we going to get this card reprinted, Konami? If somebody from Konami actually happens to stumble upon this video and watch the entire thing, or just sees the title of the video, I would love to hear an answer from anybody who is associated with Konami. That would be greatly appreciated. But this is one of those videos where the title pretty much explains it all, and you guys will probably have like maybe one sentence answers in the comments and whatnot. But I feel like this is a great question to ask, and it's a topic that most people don't really think about, because when you think of a prize card, it's something that, you know, a lot of people will never even see, let alone actually be able to have in their deck and play with, and it really shouldn't be that way. And the thing is, it didn't used to be that way. Konami has actually deteriorated a ton when it comes to giving the players the prize cards in a timely fashion, and if you started playing this game during the Zeal era, the Xyz era, or, you know, like recently Arc V, Pendulums, you probably, like, you don't know any other world than a world where, like, you may never see a giant hand in your entire life. Like, Dueling Network is as close as you're going to get, because who the fuck has, like, ain't nobody got time to drop $775 on a damn card. Like, we complained about Lose a Turn being 50 bucks. It's incomprehensible to think that the average player has, you know, 3/4 of a G to drop on a card. But back during the GX days and the 5Ds days, when it was the Shonen Jump Championship, which Konami then renamed the Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series, YCS, Shonen Jump, or SJC, when it was the SJCs, Konami gave the same exact type of surprise support in way of these surprise cards. It was 3 cards per event, but the thing is, they kind of re-released those cards. Like, they reprinted them maybe a year or 18 months later, but they did it in a really smart way. What they would usually do is they would release them in a gold series, or they would release them as, you know, a special edition, so that they could obviously boost sales. Players could get those cards maybe a year later. You wouldn't have to go drop $1,000, $1,200, spending an arm and a leg just so that you could have, you know, the same advantage as everybody else. Because back in the day, and they've actually curbed this a lot, some of the cards, it seemed like a lot of times it was feast or famine with the Shonen Jump prize support. Like, some of the cards were insanely powerful, and then some were just kind of butt. And it felt like, you know, one year we'd have a fantastic card that it was just like, oh my god, you actually have that? Like, you should just dominate this event. If you draw it, you're gonna win. And then sometimes we got crap like Dp-Ygo. Let's forget that this ever was a prize card. But when you look at cards like Cyberstein and Crush Card Virus, and you see that they were actually like Shonen Jump support prize cards. If you had a Shonen Jump and you went to, or if you had a Crush Card and you went to a regional, like especially early when Crush Card was released as a prize support, every time you drew it, you just won, because the card was just, it was insane. And this is old Crush Card, not the like new errated one. Same thing goes for like Cyberstein. But then again, cards like Shrink and Dp-Ygo were just like, we don't really want those. But you could actually, you know, Giant Hand is closer to a card that it's a huge edge for somebody who actually has it. It's not on the level of, you know, a Crush Card or Cyberstein, where it's like absolutely meta breaking, but it is rank 4. That is commonly, like, that's generally known as the best rank pool in the game. So I would say that it could be on the level of like a Doom Caliber Knight, where if you had a playset of Doom Caliber Knights, you had access to decks that no one else, maybe in your entire state, would be able to play. Now, the thing is, that's kind of funny. Konami actually did reprint some of the what's it called, the YCS prize cards, like all the Dark Lords, which I have no idea, considering they're like a mini archetype, why they would print them as surprise. Like, why would you print them as prize cards if they're supposed to be like a archetype? It makes it so damn difficult to play the deck. But that's beyond the point. Konami actually did release these in the Legendary Collection, which was, I was like, okay, that's cool. But if you look at Giant Hand and Blood Me Fist, first off, just look at these prices: $348. $279 is the cheapest for a card that's absolute garbage. You will probably never want to summon. Our current card, you know, $520. Again, these are just kind of like estimated prices, but these cards, you know, Giant Hand, this was the prize card in 2013. people, like, look at the calendar. We're halfway through 2015 and there's still no reprint in sight. And the last cards for all the YCSs, these last 4 cards, Konami hasn't even brought up them when it comes to reprinting. And they've had so many opportunities. You know, they could have put them in a gold series. We had that this year. We're of course getting Mega 10s. You know, they saw fit to put the Elder entities in there. Why not put like some of these cards in there? Obviously, players want these. You know, nobody has been able to get consistently a giant hand since the damn thing came out like 2.5 years ago. So it's one of those things where it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't know if maybe they don't own the rights to those cards. But I can't really think of any reason why they have neglected their prize support cards. And I think what probably frustrates me the most is there doesn't seem to be any change in the near future. You know, Konami, when they're talking about like their press releases and they're talking about everything that's coming out in the quarter or maybe even for the full year, where they're talking about the 10s and the special editions and we're gonna release a new gold series, they never ever mention the YCS prize cards. Like they never even bring them up, which is weird because they're giving out more prize cards now than they did at the old Shonen Jumps, because they're giving out multiple rarities. They're giving out super rare and ultra rare, so it's like it makes even less sense. You know what I mean? You clearly know that the players want them. You're making multiple rarities. Why not just release them to the masses? If you look at the 150th YCS that happened not too long ago at Columbus, I mean, there was 1,600 registered players or over that. But, you know, that doesn't even account for just people who played inside events and just people who hung out and whatnot. So, I mean, how many giant hands do you think are even in existence? Like 80, I would say. I mean, even if we said double that, 160, which is a very, very, very generous estimation. I mean, that's like only a giant hand for 10% of the people that entered. Does that seem fair to you? That only 10% of the people who play would actually have access to this card? It doesn't seem fair to me. So, you know, Konami needs to get their head out of their asses and just, you know, cash in on an obvious win-win. If they release this in the Clash of Rebellion Special Edition or Super Edition or whatever dumb edition that they're going to release for Clash of Rebellion, because they have too many dumb editions now, you know, release this as an ultra rare or a secret rare or something like that in there, and it'll probably completely sell out as a product. It'll be just like the Secret Forces. So let me know what you guys think. If you have any interesting takes, leave that in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching as always. Subscribing makes life happy.